Hello, today's Thursday, so I'm talking to you guys today, or well, this week. This week's topic is coming out, and I will be getting to that topic in a second. First, I thought I'd mention why I'm wearing this get-up. Since Halloween is this coming Monday, I thought I'd dress up partially in my costume. I say partially because I'm going as Luna Lovegood, and it involves a blonde wig and a talking hat, so that would be quite ridiculous to wear throughout the entire video. Ridiculous!
I heard that. Don't make me come down off this head.
Luna mentioned problems with National Coming Out Day, and while I agree with some of their points, I'm not sure I quite agree with others, like about it being sex lives, basically telling people about your sex life. I don't really see coming out as that. I see coming out as basically letting them know that you are not heterosexual and not to expect you to suddenly get with the opposite sex of what you are and what is expected of you. Sadly, it is necessary in this world currently, based on current culture and social norms. In a not perfect, but in a good society, we wouldn't need to have to come out. It's just not assumed what you are. But sadly, you kind of have to. Basically, a better way of coming out would be basically not to come out, as in just like offhand mention if someone's like, oh, when are you going to get with a boy, or when are you going to get a boyfriend, if it was in regards to me. A good way of saying, oh, probably never, or something like that, and then say maybe, but I hope to have like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever soon, or something like that. You know, just mention in a conversation, make it normal. And then, you know, it's like if they have a problem with it, or if something, or, you know, then you can go from there. But with the way the world is now, you kind of have to make a space to come out to someone so that you're in a good area. Like, for example, coming out in public may not be the best idea, because if they suddenly scream and shout about it, then everyone knows, especially if someone from school is there. So I would say the best way to come out would be to do it privately and in person. Last year for National Coming Out Day, I still regret this. I was newly on project team, and I wanted to make this a project basically for asexuals to like come out, whether through Facebook or other ways. And that was one of the suggestions. And one or two people were telling me, well, if you are expecting us to come out on Facebook, why aren't you? Why are you only going to do it cryptically? Because I was going to do some like, oh, I'm ace and stuff like that. And even though it was just a suggestion and I wasn't expecting other people to do it, I was just giving out ideas. I thought they had a point, stupidly, and so I did it myself. And I forgot to block certain people from seeing it, like my grandmother. You can see, I'm just going to show it in the video. I got two really great responses from two friends of mine, and I got a third at the very end of the conversation. But, and I got a lot of likes from asexual friends I have on Facebook. But basically, I only know that 3 people on Facebook saw it. And I don't know how many other people have seen it. I have no idea who knows. And it's very, very uncomfortable for me to not know who knows. And basically, it's something I'm never going to do again. It gave me a lot of pressure, and I felt like I had to do it even though I didn't want to. It's good to do it on Facebook once you're out to other people personally, or you don't care really who sees. But I do care. Like my grandmother, I plan on not coming out to her anytime soon, because I've heard from my mom she's homophobic, and so I'm not sure how she would react. Currently, she doesn't seem homophobic. When we were watching What Would You Do TV show, and there were 2 drag queens in a cafe getting harassed by the actor, and when a little girl defended them against this actor who was harassing them, my grandma said, "You go, girl." So that gave me a bit of hope. But still, I just don't think it's a good idea anytime soon. I might, and especially if I get a girlfriend, I will. Or she'll find out somehow, because I'm not going to like hide it. Unless if she wants me to, my girlfriend or whatever, I don't know. But basically, I'm not. And I'm nervous about my family in California finding out because they're Greek Orthodox. And my cousin was telling me how one of the reasons why she didn't like an aunt of mine was because she was a religious leader, like a pastor or something, and that was against her religion. And if she's against that, I can only imagine what she thinks of gay people. I mean, that's just, like, ridiculous. But besides that, I mean, my aunt, one of my, I have 3 aunts. I think she would be pretty accepting. I've talked to her about how the Salvation Army is homophobic, and she was like, that's wrong. And I came out to her as asexual, heteroromantic, and she was somewhat supportive then, because she was like, well, things might change, blah, 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 but she didn't say anything against it. So she will probably be supportive. I'm not sure about my 2 uncles. This is all on my dad's side of the family, by the way. I don't really have much family on my mom's side. Yeah, my dad, I'm actually pretty tempted to come out to him. I came out to him a year ago as like a month or like a couple of weeks before National Coming Out Day, because I wanted him to find it out from me and not from my Facebook that I was a heteroromantic asexual. And he was very supportive. He knew what it was, for one thing. I was, like, shocked he knew what asexual was. And he said I could always talk to him about anything. Don't feel scared. So maybe once I know for sure what my label is, I'll come out to him. So it's still a bit scary because it's still nerve-wracking. I have never really had to come out to my mom besides when I told her I was bi, like a couple of months ago when I was using the biromantic label. I came out to her as that, but before then she was the one who found out about asexuality, so when I rediscovered asexuality, I just had to say that, oh, I finally searched that site and you were right, this totally fits me. It wasn't coming out, it was more so as like a conversation of stuff she kind of already knew. So yeah, coming out with more so bi-romantic, and then recently I told her that I think I might be gay, and I don't know exactly how, whether still asexual or what. And that was an interesting conversation, and she reacted differently than how I thought. I thought she would be like, oh, I told you so, oh, you are definitely sexual. Then again, I didn't tell her everything. Oh, I kind of went on a tangent into my family and stuff, so I guess I'll continue with this and talk about National Coming Out Day in a sec. And my other sister, who's closer in age to me, she kind of knows. I've talked to her when she interviewed me for her gender studies class, since I know a lot about gender stuff, and in a way I'm kind of outside the gender binary myself. But she didn't know that until she interviewed me, and she was like, you're definitely female, whatever. Anyway, because I kind of told her I might be genderqueer or something. I used to think National Coming Out Day was a great thing because it gave some people a day and a date to come out, and it might get them the bravery to be able to come out. But in some ways, I do think it's a bad idea because it gives pressure on coming out, and it may concentrate on the wrong ideas of coming out. Sometimes coming out can be a bit of a process, and it can't be all done in one day, and yeah, it's complicated. I agree with Lunar in that it shouldn't be something you are supposed to do. As I said, I think one of the best ways you can do it, if you know they're accepting about gay stuff anyway, not because if they're possibly homophobic, the best thing you can really do for yourself, unless if you really, really have to come out, is wait until you're not financially, if this is your parents, wait until you're not financially dependent upon them, and you know you have options, like, you know, if you have a friend who'd be willing to take you in, or worried about them possibly kicking you out, you really should wait until you don't have to depend on them. For other family and for friends, if you know they're accepting on gay issues and stuff, or LGBT, you should maybe bring it up in conversation. Now, if you're trans, there's a lot of resources online you should look, because trans is different than coming out as gay or lesbian or bisexual, because it's definitely a lot more in depth, and it's for trans people, it really is something you kind of have to do, because you can't just, unlike saying, oh, you know, I might have a girlfriend someday or whatever. No, for being trans, it's really, my name is blank and I want to be called blank pronouns and stuff like that. So it's kind of not something you can just have it come up in conversation. It really is something you have to plan and talk about as an actual topic of conversation. I'm obviously not an expert on this. There's a ton of resources online. But it's something I wanted to touch upon because I don't know if other vloggers are going to touch upon this. Coming out as trans or trans asterisk, you know, including genderqueer, neutral, agender, bigender, gender fluid, etc. It's kind of something you can't really bring up in discussion. I have kind of told my mom that I think I might be genderqueer or whatever, but she was like starting to get into there's too many labels and stuff, and it just confuses people, so. I mentioned my sister who was just going into, well, you're definitely female, so, and I'm like, well, no, I kind of have sometimes more masculine male days, so whatever. Anyway, so like I said, there's resources online, and they can probably tell you a lot more information than I can. I think I'm already making this video a lot longer than it should be. But, oh, I never really finished what I was mentioning earlier. I don't think it's about your sex life. If I came out as a lesbian, I'm not telling people suddenly that, oh, what I'm doing in bed. No, it's just telling them that they need to expect and respect that I am not going to get with a guy, and that I am going to have a girlfriend and a wife, not a boyfriend and a husband. Or if I came out as bi, and then, you know, it doesn't necessarily equal what you do in the bedroom, especially because you may not necessarily be sexual unless if you specifically state that you are homosexual, bisexual, heterosexual. Because, like, I can come out as lesbian but still be asexual and might not just want to mention it, or, you know, telling them what you're doing in bed. It's more so telling them not to expect what is typical in society with you and the opposite sex. Basically, in current society, we kind of have to come out so people don't expect certain things or assume certain things about us. Hopefully things change. I really do. It seems like society is going that way. I really hope so, because it'll be nice. Nice to live in a world where kids don't have to worry about not being normal, or, you know, having to worry about their parents kicking them out or their parents being unsupporting, especially for those growing up, because I know growing up I was wondering what was wrong with me because I didn't have a crush on a guy. I've been working on myself basically since first grade, and my sister was in preschool and she had a crush on a guy in her class, and I was like, wait a second, I'm supposed to have crushes? So ever since then, I'd worked on myself to try to be attracted to guys, and every year I would try to find who I thought looked alright and just say I had a crush on it, you know, even though it didn't feel right. I hope this video was helpful to some of you, and I hope I didn't ramble on too much or get too personal. Auf Wiedersehen.